Ever feel annoyed with your partner? Like this kind of like slow burn annoyance? Not necessarily slow for a long time, but it kind of comes up from the inside like a "Urgh." It's not really a direct reaction to what's happening right in front of you. It's just this kind of like what do they say? Like a craw? Something stuck in your craw. I don't remember what that saying is, but it's kind of like a burn somewhere at the bottom of the rib cage. That's where the emotion sits, right? So let's talk about what that really means. I'm Shauna White, relationship coach for spiritually awake couples. And I just experienced this the other night myself, not with my partner, but with somebody else. And it reminded me, as I unraveled what that was all about, how important it is to see this a little bit more clearly. So, when your partner does something or doesn't do something, and you get that kind of like, that burn underneath, under the rib cage, that's where I feel it. Oh, pardon my phone. Um, Most likely, what's going on is that somewhere along the way, you slipped into not taking care of yourself. And you're feeling like your partner is falling down on compensating for the way that you're not taking care of yourself. In other words, like for instance, and it can be really subtle. So I'll tell you what happened with me. And I'm not going to go into the whole big thing, but there's a person on the periphery of my life who has proven himself to be untrustworthy. And I didn't realize it, but I thought that I was expected by someone else close to me to let that untrustworthy person into my trust zone. And I didn't even really directly realize that that was a thought in my mind. But because I had that thought, when I thought about this untrustworthy person, I go, just a little bit, you know? I'm like nice, even, calm on the surface, but underneath I'm a little bit like, "Rrr." And so I sat with that the other night and I was like, oh, I see what's happening. Because I don't have a problem. Mr. Untrustworthy can be Mr. Untrustworthy as long as he wants to in his life. And I actually really don't have a problem with that. But the problem that I had was the idea that I'm supposed to hang out with him and let him into my trust zone when I regard him as untrustworthy, and he has yet to show anything different than that. So it was the idea that I was supposed to do something against what felt right for me. That's what was making me feel, "Ugh." But as soon as I saw it and I saw, oh, I don't I don't have to allow him into my trust zone. And I also talked with the other person, my friend, who I thought was asking me to invite this person or allow this person into my trust zone. And he said, no, 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 not at all. No, absolutely. I'm not asking you to do that. And I was like, okay. So I cleared up a pressure inside me that I thought um, was asking me to do something against myself, against my inner alignment, what feels right and clear and honest and really true for me. And now I have absolutely no issue with Untrustworthy, with Mr. Untrustworthy. I have no issues with him. I have no at the bottom of my rib cage when I think about him. I am completely content to allow him to be on his journey and to trust his journey. Everybody has their own journey. So this is also true when it comes to our partnerships. It's a little bit more complicated because when it's an intimate partnership, you're actually sharing the journey together in a certain way. And so it can be a little more complicated to untangle where your self-care lies versus where you need to ask a question of your partner. But even though we share a journey, a somewhat merged journey with our intimate partner, it is still true that we each have our own individual journey. And your partner is going to do things that you would choose not to do. or that or that if you could choose what they do, you would choose they don't do that. Your partner's going to do some of that stuff. But the trick to remaining peaceful is that you watch the shoulds in your own mind, and you don't let your own mind trick you into thinking that you have to put yourself in a position that you're not comfortable with. You can allow your partner to have his or her journey of, whatever it might be. I mean, if you want to throw some examples in the comments, we can go further with this. For me, I'll choose a health example. Oh, this is going to be an interesting one. I think it's interesting. So, for instance, I'm going to use an example with a close friend, but it could equally be my partner. So, close friend decided to get a milkshake. I wonder if I've mentioned this before, if you follow my videos. This is a big learning for me. He decided to get a milkshake with a friend of his, and then it compromised his health like big time. Like he felt like crap, really, really bad. They both did actually for a couple of days. Now that actually sounds like food poisoning, but of course I'm thinking to myself, what good could come from a milkshake anyway? Why did you have a milkshake? Because I'm like a total health nut, right? And I definitely had some judgment, and I definitely had some grrr at the bottom of my rib cage when I heard about this with my close friend. And well, when I take a closer look at it, I mean, I guess another lens that we could look at all of this through is the lens of control. Because if I had my way, he wouldn't have had a milkshake. So that's control, right? And I wouldn't want someone to control me that way. So we have to think about this with our partner. We have to allow the people that we love to make the choices they want to make, because it's their life and it's their journey, and it's their lessons, right? Their discovery of whatever they're discovering in their life. We have to allow people to have that. But when I look at why do I want to control? So control so why is this control instead of self-care? Because him having a milkshake has nothing to do with me, really, right? It becomes self-care when the way I'm looking at it affects me and what I have to do. So, for instance, if I felt like I had to take care of him when he feels bad after having a milkshake, then that should, inside my mind, of what, that he's inconveniencing me because he had a milkshake, now he feels bad, and now I got to take care of him. That's where it comes into the self-care thing of what I would have to ask the question, what is aligned for me in how I want to be? Let me not make assumptions about what I have to do just because he had a milkshake and now he feels bad, right? And so then I could find what's the aligned way that I want to interact with him feeling bad now. Maybe I would be okay taking care of him to some degree, helping him and supporting him through his feeling bad time. But if I do it from a place of should, then I'm going to resent the fact that he had a milkshake. But if I do it from a place of I don't have any shoulds, let me just feel what I authentically feel like doing, then I walk in balance and I feel peaceful. So that's the self-care part. But if it has nothing to do with me, he's not even asking me to take care of him, then it's the control part. Because it doesn't affect me, but I'm still like, why did you do that? You shouldn't have done that. And so when I look under the hood for that, and that's what we have to do, is we look under the hood and we see what everything is made of, what's leaning on this and leaning on that, and the cause and effect dynamics till we get to the root. When we get to the root, we know we got to the root because we feel peaceful again. So what's under the hood for me with health fanaticism to the point of being annoyed with the people I love for eating something that makes them feel bad and that is obviously not good for them? Well, I've had two really important people in my life die. My mom passed away just before I turned 4 from breast cancer, and my sister passed away in 2018 from the complications of cervical cancer. And so there's actually a fear in me um, about losing the people I love to poor health or complications, really bad complications of health issues. And so a bit of my, I mean, I like to feel good, so there's that reason why I'm so into health. But I can also tell that there's a fear inside me about those kinds of possibilities and consequences, and that drives my health fanaticism to some degree for myself, because I want my body to be healthy, and also for my loved ones. That's why I get angry when my loved ones don't take care of the health to my specifications. Underneath the anger is fear that I'm going to lose another person that I love. So, so recognizing that, I actually feel a little bit like crying now. Recognizing that allows me to breathe and get underneath the anger when somebody, and to re reevaluate where my values are landing, because I, even if somebody has takes a journey that leads them on a poor health adventure, which is not always somebody's fault anyway. um, that's their journey, right? I can't think of a higher truth than allowing people to go for the ride that is their life, and to experience the challenges that are given to them, and in some cases that they volunteered for, not all cases. um, but the challenges that are given to us are the gifts for our learning while we're here in this 3D experience. And so I can't think of a higher truth than to allow that and honor that, and just be available in a peaceful, loving place to be a partner on the journey. But I I can't see that there's any real truth to trying to control somebody else's journey. That just makes no sense. That's a form of tyranny. And I don't even really want to treat myself with that kind of heady control either. I want to be open to the journey in my life, and open to the journey that my loved ones are on that I get to share. So, um, so that's my answer to the anger or the frustration or the critical energy that can come up in me or has come up in me when a loved one does something health wise that I don't agree with. Um, Now I have worked out the thought path in my mind so that the next time that comes up, because it probably will come up for me again, I can say, okay, I know what this is, and I know the fear behind it, and I know what I truly value. Instead of control, I truly value to allow and be present with this person in a place of love. So I can breathe and then shift into that. So there we go. I worked it out on the spot for you. I hope you enjoyed the journey. And that's what it looks like and what's involved with unraveling when you feel annoyed with your partner. It's not your partner necessarily. I mean, we'll go to a third quadrant very, very briefly. A third quadrant. Anyway, don't mind my math. A third possibility is that your partner's doing something that is genuinely questionable. Again, being annoyed is not so productive, but in that case, the unraveling would be the what's underneath the annoyance would be, what's the question I have for my partner? if I ever end up having a conversation with Mr. Untrustworthy, I realized also from unraveling my annoyance that I have a question for him about his behavior over the last year. And I had a should in my mind that I should be present with him. If I'm talking with him, I should just have a clean slate and just experience him now. And so it was yet another insight. And this is what we have to do is just, okay, what's this emotion telling me, and go deeper into the roots. And this is what I help clients with as well. So I realized that the idea that I should just be present with a clean slate with him was putting me out of alignment. That's another reason why I had a grr. And I realized, oh, actually, I have a question for him about the entire last year. A single question about one thing in his behavior over the last year. If I were going to talk to him and have a real conversation, get real with him, get honest, I have that question for him about the whole last year. And now I feel peace. I could ask him that question in a peaceful way. I don't have to be angry because I'm not putting myself out of alignment inside myself, thinking I should be different than what's really honest from the peaceful place in me. So that's always the question when we get annoyed. What's really honest from the peaceful place in me? All righty. Let me know what you got from that one. I went on that. That was a deeper journey than I thought I would take, but I hope it was useful. And I would love to hear what you got from that. Okay, share in the comments, shoot me a DM, and have a great day.